Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I didn't even push the damn button. That's how retarded tonight is. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the newest edition of What You've Been Missing. Let's push from the left to the right. Welcome, welcome.
Wow.
Better late than never. Wow. Wow. We tell you guys that we do this live. We do this live every single Sunday night, and things are bound to happen. But shout out to Hef and K Dizzle DC. Welcome to the All Dressed Up podcast. You know who we are. It's your favorites, one and only. Hef,
What it do, K Dizzle?
I'm so glad to be on. Looking at your beautiful face in your satin shirt.
You must
I
have
love
just
it.
flew in. You must have just flew in from Cancun.
Bro, I got off the plane and been grinding nonstop. It's just so retarded. You know, you take a vacation and you feel good, and then when you get back, you running and doing everything plus some, and trying to get back into swinging things at the same time.
Mm.
Trying to get it's only an hour difference, but just the mere shock to the system of not doing a lot for 5 days and then coming back and doing everything. ADU's in the building. Everybody's here. Everybody's rolling in. We love you guys. We thank you. Just a mere shock to the system, and then trying to double that up is just bananas. But look, man. Look, hello from the Carters. Thank you so much. I saw the videos. We have them on deck. We are putting that together. You will see it very soon.
Yes.
Thank y'all for supporting us in the All Dressed Up podcast. We are nothing without you, and we love you and we appreciate you. 110%. Talk to me, man. Talk
So
to me.
before you go in on my satin shirt, this is me repping the Milani brand. The Milani brand was one of my businesses that we promoted this in this series. So shout out to you. Thank you for the
Shout out to
shirt.
Bonnie Brand.
I appreciate your K Dizzle for recognizing my satin shirt. It's not really satin though. It's just a little shiny.
That
It's just a
Joe Shiny
t-shirt.
man right there, bro. I
But
love it. You look
what's
good.
up, guys? I appreciate y'all coming through, even though we're about 22 minutes late. But it's okay.
28.
We're live. This is what we do every Sunday. So thank you for sticking with us. But nah, man, it's been a lot going on. Won't you say?
Yes, yes.
It's
Everything under the sun
been a
has
lot
been
going
going
on, man.
on, man. Let's kick it off. Look, we do this. We do this in a certain way. We enjoy what we do. We try to make sure that we don't, you know, dig in the guts or go to deep dive straight away. We talk about current events. We talk about other stuff before we really get into the nitty gritty.
And
Because
you know what, Kate does before you even go further, I want to say one thing. Like we sit out here on a platform, right, and we talk about a lot of deep stuff sometimes. Like we don't
right,
always just sit out here and just act a fool and just try to have too much fun. Like we sometimes take on some serious topics and some serious issues. So
yeah,
I would like to say a lot of people don't necessarily have.
there it is. There's the cup.
I would like to say a lot of people don't necessarily, like to take on these conversations, especially on a public forum.
For sure.
And I'm not trying to say just because we're up here talking about serious topics that we should just be given mercy by everyone, but I like to think that we try to give an unbiased opinion. We try not to judge people. We try to accept everybody to come on this live chat and talk with us and help us learn in some areas because we might take on some subjects and topics that can be very, very gentle or very sensitive. So I just want to throw that out there because we definitely do that every week.
Look, man, we do what we do because we love it every week, and we feel like the information that we're bringing, we share a couple different sides to every story and different avenues, and we talk about it, even if the opinions agree or disagree. We talk about it. But enough about what we do and why we do what we do,
Oh,
what we love. Yeah, you didn't put the new cup up. That's what
oh, that's what
that's
he's
about.
talking about.
Where's
See,
the
I'm
new cup?
slipping.
You slipping, Doc. You
410
slipping.
beard. I need you, man. I'm
Uh,
dropping the ball over here.
it's all good. It's all good. But hey, let's get into the blockbuster deal in sports that is finalized today, my man. One and
So,
done. One and done.
one
That's
and done
expected.
is right. So, my man Russell Westbrook went on Instagram and went on social media to bid Washington D.C. adieu. He did say, he really appreciated his stay. but the Wizards are going into their rebuilding mode. They have traded Russell Westbrook to the Los Angeles Lakers. So my Lakers are going to be back. You will be seeing the purple and gold on my side of the screen next NBA season. But they trade
Well,
Russell Westbrook for Kyle Kuzma. They trade for Kyle Kuzma, KCP, um, who else? Montrezl Harrell, and a draft pick.
the draft pick.
So about three envelopes and one stamp. But they'll figure it out. You know, that's what the Wizards do. They'll figure it out.
They're in full rebuild
What
mode.
up, Big P? Yeah, I'm a Lakers fan.
Yeah,
So from here on out, don't address me about the Wizards. I'm not interested in talking about them. I'm robbing LeBron until he retires, man.
Text 301-857-1757 to join the conversation. We'll send you the link so you can come in and give him shit about his Lakers. But but I
Put
still
the
love the Wizards.
email up too, K Dizzle, so they can see where they send the videos because we've been getting some nice videos from you
Oh,
guys.
we
We
can get some
appreciate it.
fantastic videos, bro. Submit your videos to alldresseduppodcast@gmail.com. Very simple, very easy. Alldresseduppodcast@gmail.com. What else can we talk about in real sports? I'm gonna tell you this. Let's just
No, let's
start.
before we go talk about what
Go
you
ahead.
think the Lakers are gonna do with Russell Westbrook. What's your prediction?
No clue. No clue. I think it's gonna be a lot of arguments and fights at the beginning, and then
Really?
it's gonna be yeah.
So it's not gonna be like All Star Weekend every night.
No, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be some ego tripping at the beginning of the season, like the first 10, 15 games, and then
Okay.
after that they'll settle in. You got to look at. I use the Brooklyn Nets as an example. You haven't had, for the most part, all of them healthy at
Yeah.
any given time, and so you haven't really been able to see it. If they're all there next year and they're all healthy, you're gonna see some ego tripping. So
But I think Russell Westbrook's gotten to the point to where he definitely wants to, find that unit he can get on to win a
for a chip.
championship. I
Mhm.
don't think he's definitely focused on the triple doubles. I think they just come by the way his play style is. But it's going to be interesting to see how he meshes with LeBron James at this point in his career. But again, you're talking about another player who can't necessarily shoot threes, and LeBron always does better when he has a guy in the backcourt that can make an open 3-point shot,
Well,
and that's what Kyrie Irving did when they won that championship.
for sure, and for sure. I think LeBron in his older years now ain't really out there to really be a huge scorer. He just wants to lead the team. So you got Westbrook, running around crazy on the court that'll do that stuff. But shout out to Westbrook and the opportunity for him and Davis and Bron to get another ring. Shout out to
I
him. But I
just
mean,
I just heard some new information that Kawhi Leonard opted out of his contract.
ooh. See, it's gonna
So
get
where is
spicy.
he gonna go?
It's gonna get spicy. The NBA is gonna get spicy indeed, my guy.
So
Indeed.
Kawhi Leonard's not coming back to the Clippers, and all of a sudden he wants out. That's interesting.
I also heard that Blake Griffin is available for a pack of Newports and a, and a Sprite 16 ounce,
And a pack
but
and a pack of fruities.
and a pack of a pack of roll papers.
Mm,
Hey,
mm, mm.
but look, keeping on the sports, the Olympics. Have you watched any of it?
They said the Olympic the views are down like 33% over the last like 25 years or something like that. I definitely haven't been really tuned in. Just when I saw how the basketball team came out flat in the preliminaries, like as soon as I saw them come out and lose those two games, I kind of lost interest.
Has
Uh,
anybody in the chat watched the Olympics? I mean, I literally, as of today, I watched 5 minutes of table tennis. That's it.
but what do
Five
you think
minutes of
about
table
what do you
tennis.
think about Simone Biles leaving the Olympics? To take care of her mental health, and she pulled out all of her competitions. I've never watched in the Olympics. Who cares? Uh, what do you think about that though, man? She was just talked about, how great she was above and beyond the competition. She was pretty much a flat out guaranteed lock for every event that
Guaranteed
she was
gold.
in.
Guaranteed gold.
And all of a sudden she pulls out. No known physical injury. She just wasn't there. I'm not gonna make any lighthearted jokes on that situation,
Right.
but she just, she had to do what she had to do.
Yeah. Shout out to Mark Nebo and the Booster Brothers starting his podcast, man. But let me
Okay.
let me say this.
Mark, you better have us on there one day,
But
man.
yeah, for sure. But look, here's what you got, man. BMX has always been there, been an Olympic sport. But Simone Biles put a routine together that she was practicing for eons, right? And they told her that she had to dumb down her routine because the difficulty was too high.
Oh,
They
so it was like
felt
AI and a crossover.
and they felt that it would be unfair to the other contestants vying for gold. That was more so part of the thing that started the whole process. Now, when you practice a routine for hours and hours and hours and days um, and you're told that hey, you're too good, you're gonna have to dumb that down. That changes the dynamic on how I look at sports
Absolutely.
as well, 110%. So
So
and
you're telling me they told her to simplify her routine because it was gonna basically make the sport look unfair. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
yes, yes,
Wow.
yes. Mark Devo says, "I love that the goal pulled out." She's like, "Fuck it, I'm the best, and I don't owe you none of you shit."
I
That
don't
is
blame her, man. That's
beyond
really unfortunate. I
true,
would have still
and
bust their ass though. I'd
and
have
th-
bust
and
their ass and walked off.
that's what weighed heavy on her. And look, our athletes are a lot different nowadays, and they understand the importance of mental health, and they're taking the precautionary measures to do so. Naomi Osaka is a prime example. Well, she kind of started the trend. People gonna call you weak. People gonna call you selfish. People gonna call you whatever they want. At the end of the day, what matters is your mental health and how you feel about it. And
Absolutely.
if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Same thing with artists and musicians. If they step away or athletes retire early or whatever the case may be, that is, the limelight is only for 15 minutes. You still got a whole life to live. So make sure you make the right decisions for you and your house versus what the world may think. So
But that's a lot though. Like you said, that's I can't even get it out. That's like a comedian who's getting ready to perform in front of millions and they have material that they written down and they rehearsed it and they getting ready to go out there the day before the head of the commission or whatever, whoever runs comedy says you can't use, half your material.
yep,
Like at that point, you are gonna get stressed out
yep,
immediately. You know what I'm
yep.
saying? Everything you put all your effort into, and it's really sad to hear. And if that's true, it's really disappointing.
No,
Another situation.
that is true, and that's what caused that downturn in how she felt about the whole situation.
So where does she come back from here? Like you wait another 4 years, you start to do some other events in between. Like that's a sport to where your youth is everything, right? Your
No, she
body.
get Simone Biles has she got medals to piss away. And you got the Olympics, which is only 4 years. You got world championships. She's got she got the point on diminishing returns on adding difficulty. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
just she can do whatever she want to do at this point. I read the story of Carrie Shrugs. You remember when she did her triumphant
Yeah,
vault and she did it on like a half broken leg. She had to retire early of her
yeah.
career because they pushed her, said, "Hey, I'm going to finish out." The coach said, "You can do it," and she did it. She won gold, but that's the end of the story. Who knows if she had not done it and pulled out, she could have went on to winning three
Two
other,
more
two
Olympics.
more Olympics.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
look, it's a win-win situation for the athlete. It's a lose-lose situation for the Olympics. But you got to do what's right at the end of the day. So fuck them all. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Fuck them all.
Yeah.
We so used to the patriarch telling us, hey, you have to, you have to do it this way. You have to do it that way. You have to do it this way. You have to grind out. You gotta put in the time, put in the work. Yes, you put in the time, put in the work, put in the effort, but you also take time out for your mental health and don't stress yourself out and lose yourself within the work. It's we're so used to being obsessive about success or status that we lose ourselves or we lose a part of ourselves within the process. So you know we look blurry, man. It's your broke ass phone, man. You on a goddamn
It's probably your Samsung because I know you're
Yeah,
not team iPhone.
no, he ain't team
Over
up.
there with your green messages, man.
Shout out, shout
With
out
your
to the
green
green bubble.
messages off the screen,
Shout
you
out to
might
the
be able
green
to see
bubble.
us on the screen, P.
Yeah, P. He rocking that flip phone. He got a Motorola
I'm about
Razr.
to fire P up in the chat. He
He got
shouldn't
a
even have said that.
pink, pink Motorola Razr right now. It's got 7 dents from 2006. Hey, so without further ado, I don't know if you seen, but I seen it. You seen the caption or the moral of the story or the episode, putting that S on our chest.
Oh, before you go there,
Woo!
um are you talking about Nas at all? Or are you letting that one go?
We're gonna let Nasir Jones go because we'll probably go in too hard on that.
All right.
Um, but putting our S on our chest, man. uh, please have pose a question like you posed it to me before we started this topic
All
because
right, so basically what I was thinking about, and I saw a couple of podcasts out in the universe, and people have been talking about, you know, what women look for in men and what men look for in women, and how, if a lot of women are being found on those like platforms like Instagram, OnlyFans, and things of that nature, those women typically look for, I would say, and they can probably admit it themselves, look for money and status. Now, a lot of the men that can afford those type of women, from what I've been understanding, are men who are really successful and make a lot of money. So what I'm trying to pose is, where does it lie between, men who I would say focus on more of getting fulfillment out of success versus women, and not all women, but some women who look for fulfillment in status. And how do those two play hand in hand? I want the chat to comment. And like Arizona says, simping ain't easy, and that's part of the topic too. We're talking about that new term simping. What's a
hmm
simp, K Dizzle?
what's a sim? What is
Arizona, what's a simp? Text us and tell us what a simp is, man. A lot of people have been talking about simping. It's the old fashioned guy. And I was just talking to my girl about it earlier because I think she asked me. And it was pretty much like, a guy who's going to have that one girl, or some guys have multiple women like this because that's just their personality, but they'll pay all her bills. They'll pretty much cater to her every move, be at her beck and command. She really dictates every move that he makes, and she controls the situation. She controls the relationship. And most of it is based off of what he can do as far as how much he can provide for her. And some of the figures that some of these women are coming out with nowadays, when you ask them like how much money does this man do these men have to make, are pretty outrageous, man, in my opinion. What's up, Maya? What's up? So I was watching this one show, man, before you go, and a lot of women were being interviewed, and they were talking about they only talk to men who make $300,000, $500,000 a year. And how many men make that type of money is my question, and how many of those men who deal with those women, honestly, or should I say, how many of those women think that those men really want to settle down with them, or how many of those women think that they're going to end up in a marriage in that type of relationship?
Man, so I looked up. You hit it right, the nail on the head. As a simp is, hold on, man. Just had that shit up. Just made me lose it. God damn it. A simp is a man that hangs around long enough to get what he wants from the desired results. What he wants from a woman. Silly
Mm.
a foolish guy. Um, Let me read that whole definition, man. Simp is a slang insult for men who are seen too attentive and submissive to women, especially out of a failed hope of winning some entitled sexual attention or activity from them. It's meant to troll young men for doing anything for a girl to get some action he supposedly deserves. Look, man, and this whole 300,000, 400,000, putting a dollar amount um, on what
Relationships.
relationships. Um, It's just a new. It's just. Is it a gold diggers era?
I mean, are they? Let me ask you this though:
I mean,
Are they just talking? Or are they really doing this? Like, are these women really getting these 500,000 which in my opinion have to be either an entertainer, athlete, celebrity, or maybe doing some illegal stuff because a lot of doctors and lawyers aren't even making 500,000 or more. So when these women sit on here and they talk on these interviews and say that's the type of men they have to have, like if they're getting that, more power to them. But I guess my ultimate question is those women are ultimately replaceable in my opinion. What I'm getting at, if you're a successful man, and we're not saying it can't be a role reversal, but I'm talking about this direction because I'm more familiar with it,
Yeah.
right? If you're a successful man and you got a lot of money, 9 times out of 10 you can find a way to have sex because there's so many different avenues for you to be able to pay for it. And I'm not going to disrespect anybody who puts themselves in that situation. That's their decision between a man and a woman.
Hmm.
But at a certain point, my question is like, how many men and how many women want that traditional relationship and marriage versus how many men and women have that mentality that I'm talking about, that have to have that beautiful Instagram model to make them feel like they're accomplished because, hey, at the moment, I'm making a lot of money, but she's on my arm, so I feel even better. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the percent? What do you think the ratio is?
I think the ratio is extremely low. And this goes to a post that I seen in a group chat, where the guy basically says, you know, um, she's a, you know, yeah, I buy pussy. No need, not because I need to, but I'm really just too busy and grown to try and finesse the draws off. I got more money than time, and everybody
And
was
some, you go ahead.
like, so, do you, do you agree with that statement or do you not agree with that statement?
But I've also, heard people say they enjoy the chase. But my biggest thing is if you like in my opinion, the average man to have sex with the majority of women out there, I don't think the average man is going to turn their collar down to much. That's just my personal opinion. Unfortunately, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But the average woman, she dictates more of who she's going to have sexual encounters with, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I think a man's going to be with a woman because he can, and a woman might necessarily be with the man because she wants
She
to.
wants to.
It's probably easier, and I don't want to offend anybody when I say this, but it's probably easier for the woman, right?
Hmm.
So with that being said, when these guys who don't necessarily know how to approach these type of women that they want, who
Hmm.
are models, strippers, or OnlyFans or porn stars or whatever, they leave with their money. And when
Right.
these women have these relationships with these men, they're having these great lifestyle and they're getting all this money from this man. But my whole thing is like the same way he got you, he can get the next one.
Right. Right.
So where like what I'm saying? At what point is like does it just doesn't stop, or is it just temporary? Like how does that work out?
I just think that it's become more of a trend now than anything else, just because of social media, right? It's This ain't nothing new. We all know this ain't nothing new. A
That's
thought is
true.
just a new term we use, millennials use, that we use and our parents use. They call them, sluts or hoes, pretty much gold
Well,
diggers,
hussies.
a hussy, a hussy. Jeez.
But can you really? But let me. Let's talk about that because you said gold digger a few times, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, let's not pretend like this just came about because this has been around as long as money existed,
Right.
right? This whole simp thing.
Hmm.
But can you really call these women, and we're talking about it from this perspective, that's why I'm talking about women, can you call them gold diggers really at this point? Because, like I said, they know what they want, they're putting out there what they need in return.
Hmm.
And the men know what these women want, and it's up to them whether or not if they're going to give these women the amount that it's going to take. And
Hmm.
that's really what it comes down to. The topic of this whole episode should be how much is it going to take? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, how much is it going to really take?
Yeah. You still a goddamn gold digger. You got a dollar value on your time. Well, you have a look. These girls are capping. They're messing with regular dudes all day. They just get online and cap. There's a whole lot of truth to that. But they live a fantasy lifestyles, and they may find one or two, one or two dudes that's willing to pay. But it's a gold digger's mentality. I only gonna mess with this guy based on if he makes this certain amount of money, takes me to these certain places,
But why
flies
can't
me
you?
out to this and that and the other.
What you
Um,
say? You said fly me out.
fly me out to
But
X,
why
Y, and
can't
Z.
you put it on a guy too at the end of the day, right? Let me play devil's advocate because if he's so successful and he's got so much money and he's got so much like I said, success, why doesn't he have more access to the type of women that he wants on a normal basis? Why
Yeah,
does he have to resort to going the financial route and playing the game? Because in my opinion, once you open that door, like a lot of these men are married, a lot of these men are in relationships, they're not
mhm,
happy because they're not with the woman of their dreams, quote unquote. These women that they see on posters and stuff, right?
yeah.
So just to finish up, like what about that though?
Look, men do the same thing, but it's not on the same level. It's not on the same level.
Sleeping
So
with women for a place to live, couch hopping.
couch. It's the same. It's the same thing. What you end up having is the men who are running like who are these successful guys. They start looking at women the same way they look at other forms of business. They start looking at them.
Oh, there you
Yep. They
go.
start looking at them as a commodity. They start looking at it as a commodity
Oh,
because if they can pay for it, then they're going to pay for the best of what they perceive to be the best,
and
which is
if a,
which
and
is
if a woman and if a woman approaches him in that type of talk, he's gonna treat her like business.
110%, and he cares nothing about other than getting his money worth at the end of the day, and he tosses it to the side and moves to the next one. So it's a one side gets what they want, the other side gets what they want, and they think they both walk away clean when it's not. Like Arizona says, call it what it is, guys. It's prostitution. Um, I mean,
We're not talking about prostitution, Arizona, though, but we're talking about
we,
the overall, really the indecent proposal. I remember they had a movie back in the day when I was a
Mhm.
kid that came out,
I
and
was
it
a
had
kid.
white folks in it, and they had, I guess, like a husband and a wife, and they were out at this real fancy place, and some other white dude came over and pretty much pushed up on the wife and like gave the husband an offer financially to let him have a night with his wife. You know
$1
what I'm saying?
million. Look, Rudy said, "Y'all stop." It's us. We know it's
Hey man,
we know
it's
it's
a hustle if you want it to be a hustle. You don't have to play that game. You can be a person who's successful as a man, right? Because I'm gonna speak on what I know. Like I can be successful and I can be in a relationship with a woman who, might not be she might not look like the average quote unquote Instagram model, but she might have all the best qualities in the world. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then that same person can start looking around and thinking that he doesn't have the value, I guess. He doesn't have self value. So I feel like he exactly, Shanae. Exactly. And we're gonna read her comments as soon as I finish, because that's what I'm saying. He doesn't value himself as much. So he has to go out, like you said, Kay, and buy an asset for his arm to make him feel better about himself, even though he has a degree, a big house, 3 cars, but he doesn't have that woman that he wants. So Shanae says, I feel like you lack self worth, male or female. If all you have to offer is sex and money, guys out here sticking to moving like STDs don't exist.
Ross says, anything you pay for, you can end your subscription at any time. So I understand the trick in mind.
Stick
Mark
and
Williams
move, stick and move.
says they present themselves the way they think the women want to increase their odds. They will always attract the same women. Let's go with it. One more from Shanae. Nobody talks about futures and Nick Cannons of the world, but women always get a bad rap. No, we talk about Nick Cannons and futures all the time.
All the
Baby
time.
daddies, 110%. And Brutus says, "What's wrong with the person getting what they want, though?"
But talk about that voodoo and talk about what Shanae just said, getting what they want. A lot of those women that get with Nick Cannon, they want to get with his lifestyle. The guy might be handsome or he might be successful, and these women might really like him. But at the end of the day, I guarantee you, the majority of the women that he deals with are definitely attracted to that lifestyle,
They're
which can lead
attracted.
to you, which can lead to you making the decision to have unprotected sex, because every adult knows that when you make that decision, the chances of you having an STD or having a child obviously double or triple.
Mm,
So
mm.
let's be honest here. A lot of these women put themselves in a predicament to have a child by Nick Cannon, and he can afford, and he can not, but for real, he can afford 7 or 8 children. The sad thing about it is he can financially afford it. Now, can he be a great dad to all those children? I don't know. I'm not in a position to say.
Now, is there anything wrong with a person getting what they want?
What's that mean?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's now we're talking about questioning. We're really talking about questioning the lifestyle, and the lifestyle of, I need to be with a man, or I need to be with a woman that has certain things before I push forward. And this dives deep into your boy. Shout out to him. We
Oh,
are
talking about
we are
Simps.
talking Simps. Yeah, we are talking Simps. Um, um, we are talking Simps. That deep dive definitely into your boy. Shout out to Kevin Samuels in that 1 million mark. But um, um, some women, or some men have an um, unrealistic expectations. Dating is competitive. Men use their money for a competitive edge, and women use their looks.
But I always believe, Kay, that you get whatever you lead with, right? So, like Voodoo said, what's wrong with a person getting what they want? If I'm leading with my money to get what I want, then when that money runs out, what I want runs out too. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or if I decide to end that business arrangement, then obviously that's when the situation is over. But if you get with the person and you leave with your money and you don't want that relationship to be, I guess, to make you a simp, but it kind of turns you into a simp as a relationship continues, because once you leave with your money, that woman's going to expect it. So once you put yourself in that position where you're paying her rent, you're paying her bills, and you get your 1 foot in the door, and now all of a sudden now that's your girl and everything, she's gonna expect to be a part of that routine. And as soon as that rent doesn't come back, she's out of there, baby. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And that's what happens with simps, and that's what happens with the whole cycle. They get chewed up and spit out because they can't keep up with these women in this lifestyle. They put their foot out there and they write a check that their bank can't cash, and they go chasing the wrong women. And you can't fault these women because again, that's how the relationship started. I can't necessarily crap on a female and say she's a gold digger because this man decided to pay her rent or to go out there and get a Birkin bag for her to get her to go on a date. That's
Sure,
not her fault.
sure. That's just game. That's just game, 110%. Um, but at the same token, you have people trying to build serious relationships with leading with this shit, leading with these principles. Now, how do you build serious relationship when you lead with these principles? People out here looking for rings. Don't buy me no bags. Buy me some stocks. You different. We know you different. We know you different. Right? Bad sugar mama and daddies, not bad sugar mama and daddies. No,
Well,
we're talking
Voodoo, why
about
don't you text in? I'm talking about simps, man. Simps are people who sit there and they bend over backwards for these girls. They do whatever these girls ask them to do. They run around like a chicken with their head cut off, pick them up, drive them here, pay their cell phone bill, let them run around on them. She goes out to the club. He don't say that's a simp. Like we know what a simp is, but we're also talking about the fact of status versus success. That's the broad topic.
hmm
Simping is a part of, the male status, the male who has a lot of money versus the image of the woman that he wants. But we're talking about women who put it out there that she wants the 500,000 there, she wants the millionaire, versus the guy who might make the money, might have the success, but he doesn't have other attributes. How does this work out and how does this end? Where does this go? That's what we're talking about.
how do you how do you how do you build a serious relationship around that?
My whole thing is you can definitely start a relationship in that regard. But at a certain point, you can't fault the other person for feeling a different way once that money stops flowing.
Well, That
Or let's say,
relationship,
or let's go ahead.
no, that relationship is purely transactional. All you are is
Keyword
just,
transactional.
yeah, a simp and a hoe don't work.
Voodoo speaking for you. So Voodoo, what's a simp to you, Voodoo? I'm curious to know what he think a simp
so
is.
so it's, um anything to get a girl, it's yeah, it's a transaction, straight up transactional relationship. So when the transaction, it's, you are basically a simp, is the best, it's a nicer form of calling a male or female a trick. You know how pimps
Yeah,
used to have hoes that turn tricks? They are the tricks. That's
yeah.
basically what it is. They are the trips. Now, no, a simp is, yeah,
That's definitely not what a simp is.
yeah,
What I respect.
yeah. A simp is a man doing anything for a girl to get the action that he wants. Basically, you know, well, he's hanging around trying to get it, but never usually ends up getting it. That's what a simp is. A simp is the friend zone, the dude in the friend zone that's there, that's cuddling and talking about her relationship and all the other bullshit and taking her out and thinking he gonna get some someday, but all he's gonna do is end up broke. So it's a nicer form of saying pimp, hoe, and trick. And there's nothing, look, there's nothing wrong if you live that lifestyle, but at the same token, you got to be able to make sure that when you make a decision to stop hoeing or stop tricking, that you have a track record of it, and you are not going to come. Yes, Melinda, a simp is a silly or foolish person. That is the Merriam-Webster's dictionary of of simp. That's what it means. But you got to remember, you got a track record, and people are going to expect certain things. So don't get mad when you come out of that lifestyle and it becomes transactional at that point. And we got our first guest coming in. Is more your boy Arizona Ron is in the building.
What's up,
What up,
man?
man? What's
What's
going
going
on?
on?
Lean in, bro. Lean in, because I already see it on your face.
All right. So I wanted to say, Simp. What's his name? Vaughn.
Voodoo.
He's
Voodoo.
kind of right. Oh, it say Voodoo.
Yeah,
He's kind of right because a simp is just not somebody with money. It's simps get the draws too,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but
that's what I
it's
said.
It's just a
it's
taste.
just they're not getting the right reciprocation.
They're jumping through the hoops for the draws.
Exactly. They doing all this that they shouldn't have to do. The girl is not reciprocating that kind of energy that the guy is giving out. She's not calling him. She not paying for at least like a couple dates.
He said Simps don't get draws. You said so. So you saying, see, oh, money get draws. Yeah. So Simps get pity sex, is what you're saying. No,
Simps
you
get petty
good, bro. That's
sex.
what
Go
It
I'm
ahead,
don't
saying.
even have to
Arizona.
be. It don't even have to be money. It can be whatever a girl needs. She might need a ride to work every morning. If a
That's what
simp
I
can
was
only
saying,
do
bro.
that,
Thank you.
he's going. That's you just a simp. That's just
Hey,
what.
Arizona, tell me if you don't know the type of females where we come from, because we know a lot of them. We have friends that know the dude they gonna call for certain problems when they come up.
It's cold.
And
When their
that's just
phone about to cut off, they know who to call. When they hungry, they know who to call. When they gotta
your
get,
name in her phone is food. Your name in her
yeah.
phone is phone
If
bills.
you gonna come smoke her up, she gonna call you.
If you gonna fire her up, that's just is what it is. It's just simping comes in many forms. That's why
Thank
I
you.
just said prostitution comes in many forms. So everybody, I'm not saying because I know the prostitution word is kind of scathing,
Right.
but that's just like I was watching the on Willie D and them podcasts. You can be somebody's wife and be a prostitute if you in it for the money. If you're not in it for the
For
love,
sure. For
you
sure.
just literally there for the money.
For
I
sure.
agree.
It's just people don't want to drop that P word because that's what it really is. Gold digging is prostitution.
At the end of the day, it's to me, Arizona, it's a business arrangement.
It's a business arrangement.
It's a
Transaction.
proposition. It's a transactional action. And you know what? To be honest with you, there's a difference between a transactional act, like having sex for money, and being in a relationship based around money. because when you have sex for money, that's one transactional act or event.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're now in a whole entire relationship with a man because he's rich and you like his status, and he's with you because you're so-called bad, I think that's a little different.
And I get what you're saying. It's the difference between one transaction and a series of events,
Right.
and that's when the simping get real heavy. When you in the series of events, when you
we we in Lemony Snicket's territory. But hold
right.
on, hold on. But so I know we've been talking for the most part about from the female perspective, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the status. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the male's perspective and the success. So what happens when, like you said, you get into a serious relationship or marriage, and now the man, he like you said, he like have said, only married them because it was a it was a great enough commodity to keep around. And now you got a relationship or you got a marriage based on one side a transaction. So now the only thing that he does is that he brings to the marriage is not love and affection, but money and the status side that he wants from her to complement his success.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So how is that different from the woman coming that side, from her side, from a man coming to his side?
So you asked me like, what's the difference that's like the difference between the trick and the
Pretty
simping?
much. Pretty
Yes,
much.
yes.
So, I mean, uh, that's kind of because I just look at it like if a woman is just putting herself out. I mean, it's a even trade is ain't a robbery,
Hmm.
but it's just like, would you really want that for your life? Just on both ends of the spectrum, like, do you want that for your life? When is it going to end?
Right, right. Voodoo says she becomes a basketball wife. It's so bad, so bad, so
So
bad.
that's I mean that's just what I just wanted to add. The simping can
Nah, man, I
be
appreciate you coming
simping can
through and
be
giving
anything.
another, yeah. Because that's what I was saying too, Arizona. Like, you don't have to just sit there and be tricking off bread. You could be that guy running around town to her beck and call every time she call you, picking her up, taking her here and there. Like, there's so many things that man has to do above and beyond the average man to get her attention. In my opinion, that's what simps do.
So is it
Exactly.
so now as a simp is a simp? Can we classify as a simp as a guy who, does the dry cleaning, does the laundry, gets all the groceries, all that shit?
You
And that's
you're
not
not
necessarily the case because you don't want to say good guys are simps.
you're not getting back what you're putting out. Point
Right.
blank period. And if you have an ulterior motive, like you want to like you're trying to mess with this girl for real, and she's not showing you that same energy back, you're a simp. That's just point blank period. You're a simp.
Y'all gonna make
Yeah,
good.
I agree with you, Voodoo. Yeah, that's not a simp. Like,
Y'all gonna make
if you're
good
getting the
food.
groceries and all that and taking care of the house and taking care of your wife, you're a good guy. But simping is you're doing a lot of those things to get progress towards the draws of that female.
Right. It's a thin line between being a good dude and a simp though, so you gotta be
Yeah,
careful.
Because a good dude can turn into a good dude can turn into a simp in the wrong relationship.
very true.
Right. Because if you're not paying attention to that line and it's not getting reciprocated after a while, I mean that's the same way if a woman is messing with a man and he just stopped doing everything he was doing, and the equity becomes imbalanced. So
Mm.
I think it's the same. It's the same. It can go either way. I don't know what's the woman's word for a simp. I guess I don't know. But I done seen a lot of women that's doing a lot for men that they shouldn't even be doing. I done seen a lot of women taking men to work and all that too. So
Whoa,
that happens.
whoa! It's a
So
lot of dudes driving Nissan Altimas during
Ultimus,
the day.
almost it be them ones speeding on 95 in them Nissan Ultimas. You be like, I know this nigga driving this girl car.
A
Always got
lot
a
of
monster auto tag bracket.
a lot of Nissan Altimas
But I don't want to
on
hold
the
y'all up.
road.
All right, y'all.
Appreciate you,
All
bro.
right, bro. Appreciate you, bro. It's a lot of Nissan Altimas on the road in the middle of
Man,
the day.
I tell you though, man, it's a good conversation. Again, just like we always do every week, we talk about interesting topics, and we going into a time to where everybody is a celebrity overnight. Everybody's an entrepreneur. Everybody's getting it. There's a lot of money going around. But what are these dudes doing with their money? Are they going into the strip club? Are they turning up? Are they putting the OnlyFans stock through the roof? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we need to be focusing on. Voodoo says if a dude was buying your wife's stuff and giving a lot of attention, he would be simping too, not a threat, but you would see him as one. That could be true,
Hmm.
because that dude could be out there on some type of mission and in his mind he can accomplish, but in your mind, he's wasting his time. But he's still simping at that point, in my opinion.
Hmm. Shanae puts it best: the baby boys of the world. The baby boys of the world. Let's be
one
real.
day we can have Shanae on the show. She comes through with some very good opinions, I
For
must
sure.
say, and she's usually very direct with it. But so at the end of the day, to kind of turn the corner on this conversation, let's say we do flip it. Are there women who move like men per se? And I hate to say it like that, but since we've been talking about it from the male's perspective, the whole episode, are work husbands or simps? Could be. Do you think that there are women that move that way? As far as a
Really?
man, like using her status and her power to prey on men, like some
Hell
of the
yeah.
women out of the Tyler Perry movies.
Hell yeah. That's why. That's how Winston is. Why Winston is Winston. Tay Diggs will forever be Winston. She didn't necessarily simp that man, but it's just the status and everything else is pulling him out of poverty and all that other stuff. It's you've seen all the opposite Pretty Woman stories.
Hmm.
So women can do the same thing as men do. Unf- I won't say unfortunately, most of the time they do it better. I will give them that. They do it
Okay,
better. And I think they're a little more vicious with it. I think they're a little more vicious with it and and they want what they want, So um
that's
it can
because
work both ways.
in our opinion, and obviously, like most people who've been around women can say, like women usually have the upper hand in most relationships. Let's be
Hmm.
honest.
Without a
You know
doubt.
what I'm saying? We all know, and that's why traditional relationships, were set up the way they were as far as marriage and, you know, finding the woman with the least amount of history that you can if you're a man of status because you don't want to marry a woman that has a big track record. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? That could be another topic one day. We were talking about bodies and I kind of strayed away from it because that can get
Ah,
very
yeah.
awkward. But
Yeah.
women have always been put on a pedestal, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, and I wouldn't even take that away from women because we always talk about equality. Like obviously, women have the short end of the stick in society, but when it came to relationships, like after those years, I would say like we do fantasize about women. We put women up on a pedestal. So, with that being said, like it's not their fault that they have those situations to where a lot of men are jumping through hoops and they're spending their money and they're doing what they have to do for these women. But on the flip side, all I'm saying is that like what can a woman expect going into that situation? You're not gonna obviously be around forever. Again, like I said in the beginning, if that man's getting you by spending his money on you, he obviously can do that with someone else as well.
Right, right, and it becomes transactional until the man decides, and just until the man decides he wants something else. Like I think Ron said it best. If it's a subscription service, he can stop subscribing at any time. There's no contract. There's no monthly. There's only a monthly fee that you can decide to pay for it or
Eartha
not
Kitt and
pay for.
Boomerang.
Yeah, to pay for it or not pay for it. And that's the trouble with with being in those type of relationships, that they're transactional, because if you get involved in it and you're looking for something more than what that is, then unfortunately it's usually going to end up the same way it began, as a transaction. So you have there is some caveats to living that kind of lifestyle. The same way for men too. If men, like the guy said, I pay for it, and because I'm too busy, what happens if he pays for the right one and falls in love with it?
But
Now
but do you
she's too
go
busy.
pay K Dizzle? Do you go pay for a woman that you know? And I hate to use these words, but would you go pay for a woman that you know has been ran through? At the end of the day, like, the men who have that type of status, they idolize and fantasize women who are, again, they say bad, but not ran through in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And, at that point, like, how many women out there can say, like a lot of men don't want a woman with a past. So at that point, like, how many
Damn.
women that you meet out there can you honestly say don't have a past? Like, everybody has a past, I would say, in
Mm-hmm.
2021. That's out in the dating scene.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another whole factor in itself.
Look, man, you pay for what you get. 110%. When a man is thinking about paying for that, he's not paying for what happened before. He's only paying for what's going to happen, what's happening in the now, and what he sees. The only issue with that is if he wants more than what that transaction means. Like I said, unless he wants more than what that transaction means, then then that's where you run into the issues. Some men want women without a past. Some men want women with a past. Some women don't want men with children. Some men don't want women with children. It all becomes a preference at that point. Um, we live in a male dominated society where women dominate the other half of it. Men dominate the boardrooms, women dominate damn near everything else. I was having this conversation in the gaming community, where, women gamers or content creators do 3 times as better as male content creators. Why? Because women, I won't say sex sells, but women are better looking than men. And
There are
women
there
will
are many
always,
professions that you would rather deal with a woman than a man.
right, women will always attract more attention than a man just because of that's how they were made. That's who they
You
are.
know, you
100.
know, it's funny how we say, "Hey, K," we say these things, right? And we say it so confidently, but no matter what we say, there's going to be somebody that's going to disagree,
And
and
that's what,
it's
like, yeah,
cool. And and that's what it is. And like, you can always email us, you can comment. Again, we don't mean to offend anybody because we're talking about things that we believe, but like K Dizzle was about to say, that's life, and I agree with you, man, in that regard.
yeah, that's just what an opinion is. Like an asshole. Everybody's got one. And that's why we talk it out. We talk it out to make sure that if you have a different opinion, to give you a different look, a different reflection, a different side of the coin. So you can take a look at it, put it against yours and see what makes sense. Because arguments, accidents, and always happen because somebody does not see the other side of somebody doesn't see is not seeing the same thing that the other person is seeing. Now, if you run in the back of me in my car, that's your motherfucking fault.
Mm.
Right? But if you run in the back of me on purpose or accident, I have no fucking clue. Um, I don't know what's going on with you. You don't know what's going on with me. But we can either get out the car and fight, or we can exchange information and keep moving. Um, and that's just like with any situation, any attitude, any opinion, any circumstance. You're going to have a difference of opinions, and talk it out, hash it out. A simp is a simp. You can call them, you can super friend zone them. That's just going to blow money,
A
and
simp is
hope
a
that
simp.
a simp is a simp. He's going to be in the super friend zone.
And
He's
at,
going to
and at
pay
the end of the
everything.
and Ken, at the end of the day, it's not going to stop. It's always going to be there. As long as there's a
Always going to
form of
be there.
currency, and you've got men who want to access women that they usually can't, they're going to use the one leveraging factor that they have over that woman. And is it her fault? I don't know. I'm not going to, not necessarily reference the term gold digger. I think again,
Gold digger.
it's a transactional experience that you're setting yourself up for an ending to. Everything comes to an end in most cases, but those relationships aren't built on strong foundation. If it's built on money, it's going to eventually become trouble, in my opinion. But again, that's just me sitting on a podcast talking my shit. If you guys think different, give us an email. Shout us out, hit us up on our socials. I'm at All Dressed Up Podcast with K Dizzle at gmail.com. Again, send us your promo commercials, your 10-second clips to tell us how you feel about the podcast. We've got some great input from you guys. We're going to put together a commercial really soon. It's going to be very fun. Next week, we plan to be on time. Again, we're a live show, man. We're live show. K Dizzle just got off the flight. He just walked in. He's got sand in his shoes, and he's
It must
paying the
slide. The
bills
pillow
as
must
we
slide.
speak, man. So
Hey,
again, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for Arizona Ron coming through.
thanks for you, Nate. Everybody that comes in. Look, we are nothing without you. We appreciate your time, your effort, your energy, and your comments on it. We do this for you guys, and we want to make sure that we copy. We follow up, and let's talk about the things that you want to talk about, and some of the things that you don't talk about that need to be said. We've had in our very short run so far, 25 episodes, some extremely controversial issues and episodes that we span through. And every time we meet,
No, we
we go
seriously
through.
took them on though, man.
Yeah, we
In
take
all
them on,
honesty.
and we're unafraid. And every time we meet, we push ourselves to see what else can we talk about. Well, what else is in the forefront? That's going to be not only just a good conversation, but thought provoking, and also gives us a range of different ideas and opinions that we know that's going to come out when we talk about it. So we love y'all. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on Apple iTunes. We are up, baby. Listen to us on Spotify. Go see Have Streams. I got to drop that. It still have streams. Young have streams. Twitter,
Yes,
Twitch,
Young have
everywhere
streams on Twitch. It's have streams on IG.
on IG.
Have
Make
streams on YouTube.
make sure you check us out on IG. Make sure Facebook.com ADU podcast.
We out here,
We
man.
love you guys. We out here. We're here, and we will see y'all next Sunday for episode 26. And I got a feeling it's gonna be a good one,
You
bro.
gotta be on time, K Dizzle.
Like it's only me. It's all good,
Love
baby.
you, bro.
We here. Love you too, man. See y'all. Peace. Boop, 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 boop.